ultimately writing should be about helping people and invoking emotion, whether it is the emotion of happiness or sadness or compassion, whatever it may be, invoking some kind of emotion should be the goal for every writer. And once you sit back and realize that you are making that difference, that you are invoking that emotional response that you're looking for in your writing, you start to say, okay, maybe I'm not too bad at this writing thing.
You are now listening to the podcast where authors inspire listeners to become authors, the Going North Podcast. I'm your host, certified self-leadership trainer, best-selling author, and book enthusiast DomBrightmon. And you're going to be listening to a different author that will inspire you to join the business of immortality, known as authorship. Now let the fun begin. Today's episode is sponsored by the GoingNorthPodcast.com shop. It is going to help you have northbound direction to your own success. If you want a great inspirational quote like advance others to advance yourself, or today a reader, tomorrow a leader, heck, even some puns like pile on and always fully booked on your tote bag, mug, hoodie, heck, even a t-shirt, and many, many other items, head over to GoingNorthPodcast.com, click on the shop tab, and cop yourself some merchandise indeed. And that's GoingNorthPodcast.com/shop. And today on the highlight reel builder for authors known as GMP, the great, glorious, and glamorous, it's the Going North podcast. So we got another super special, awesome human for you today, courtesy of one of the best websites on planet Earth and beyond, probably the whole Milky Way galaxy with all the milk, known as podmatch.com. That's right, indeed. It's the cool site where podcast guests get to connect with podcast hosts. And if the guests pass the wonderful 7 trials of hell to make it to heaven, they're freaking in. And today's guest passed through all 7 trials. That's right, indeed. He went through 70 levels of puns to get to this place, and he's freaking succeeded today. Because let me tell you a bit about him. Because today's guest is not just an author, he passes that test, but he's a podcast host too. So he's a fellow bookcaster, y'all. And not only that, he's also a husband with a lovely wife, as well as an award-winning, you heard that right, folks, award-winning blue ribbon style marketing and communications professional, as well as a publisher who loves to publish books and support indie authors, as well as a mental health and travel blogger. So let's give it up for the terrific and wonderful, the one and only Tyler Wittkofsky. How you doing today, Tyler?
I'm doing good, Dom. Thanks for having me. It's exciting to be here. I listen to the podcast all the time, and I'm just excited to be part of the party now.
Oh, yeah, that's right, indeed. The journey to interview 1,000 authors, and he's part of it now. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Oh, speaking of party, I'm pretty sure there were some trials that made the party more fun. So my goodness, as with all introductions, they're not allowed to be 75 years, 0.5 centuries long. I probably forgot, I don't know, 4 centuries of content. So am I filling in any cavities I may have missed about you that makes you the Tyler that you are today?
Yeah, I'll start back from whenever I was a kid. Ever since I was a kid, I've had this fascination with creating stories. It all started way back then, thanks to my grandma. She was a high school English teacher, later my principal in elementary school. She introduced me to the world of writing at a young age. She helped raise me and my brother. My mom was a single mom, and my grandparents were huge for helping to get us to where we were. I eagerly embarked on that literary journey with her, and with her guidance, I learned how to craft stories that truly resonated with people, ones that evoke the emotions and feelings within people. She ultimately became my inspiration. She encouraged me to write every step of the process. But really, in 2012, while I was in high school, that's when I stumbled upon the magic of poetry. It's like painting just with words. It captured the essence of my emotions. Writing poems became my way of navigating through tough feelings like dealing with anxiety and depression and mania and everything that comes along with bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder. Those verses became a window into my experiences with mental health. And surprisingly, people connected to them deeply. But in 2019, I was actually living with my grandmother. I was waiting for my house to be built. My wife and I were living there, and my grandmother kept asking me, she was like, "When are you going to write? When are you going to write? When are you going to write something?" And I finally told her, I was like, "Okay, I have this idea called Not Alone. I wanted to try my hand at novella writing, and within 90 days, that novella was born. It's a story that delves into mental health. It sheds light not only on the ones struggling with the mental illness, but also the impact on their loved ones and the impact that their loved ones can have on them. It was really just a narrative grounded in true events from my life, and many people found it relatable, saying it helped them make sense of their own feelings. Fast forward to 2020, and I decided to compile all those poems that I had wrote between 2012 and 2016 into a poetry collection called Coffee, Alcohol, and Heartbreak. This was a creative outlet that I used to express my feelings and give other people a place to relate to. Uh, then my journey turned to romance. I wrote a romance book during NaNoWriMo in 30 days called The Seeds of Love Sunflower Kisses Book One. In that book, I explored love and emotions from the perspective of someone dealing with mental health challenges. So all my writing led me to build my website, tylerwittkofsky.com, where I write book reviews, host coffee chat interviews with indie artists such as writers, tattoo artists, comedians, bloggers, podcasters. I also have guest posts, and I share insights on topics like you said, ranging from mental health, marketing, traveling to writing, and whatever else piques my interest. And then the new chapter began for me in 2022 when my wife Grace and our friends Kelsey, Caitlin, and Victoria teamed up to start Tea with Coffee Media. Our goal was basically to provide a platform for other writers to share their stories, amplifying the voices that often go unheard. And like you mentioned, I do enjoy podcasting. I dive into very important discussions and share my knowledge about the world of writing and publishing and editing on the Cook the Books podcast, which is a podcast through Tea with Coffee Media. But present day, I'm cruising around with Grace and our furry companions, Dutch and Belle, in a super cool RV named Dink and a Jeep named Ginger. Our adventures are absolutely incredible, and I chronicle them on our blog, Adventure with Coffee. I mean, it just feels like we're living a fairy tale, don't you think?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, indeed. More fairy tale and an agile style living. That's right, indeed. It's like, hey, squatters can't get your house if it moves.
That's right. That's right.
And they are on the move, indeed. My man's definitely on the move himself. And man, like so many things to unpack, indeed, especially being able to really find poetry and then really getting the confidence to not only share, but also publish it years later and turn your pain into a paycheck, man. So, my goodness, like with mental health being such a huge topic, not only for yourself, because you're dealing with it with yourself, but also with the whole world, with the way things are now, with how crazy the world gets. Like, my goodness, like what do you think are some things about mental health that should be brought more to the forefront that folks kind of gloss over when it comes to the conversations about it?
I think the most important thing is to build that surrounding of people that support the person with mental illness, because sometimes as a person with mental illness and somebody who struggles with mental health challenges, you often forget that you do have people around you. So I think oftentimes we see mental illness being portrayed as somebody who is alone or has nobody or only has one person, when in reality, people with mental illness may have tons and tons of people. They just can't see it because there's a fog over their mind. And I think being able to portray that people with mental illness are just like somebody who has diabetes, it's just an illness. Just because it's mental doesn't make it any less of an illness than a physical illness. And remembering that and taking those steps to normalize it is what I'm trying to do with my writing, and I think a lot of writers out there are trying to do by being inclusive and not making it to where the person with the mental illness is always the villain. You know, for so long we saw somebody who was bipolar be the villain, or somebody who had depression turn out to be the villain, or whatever it may be. And now we're seeing the shift to where the hero has depression. The hero faces imposter syndrome. I mean, you look at movies like Spider-Man. I mean, even Spider-Man faces imposter syndrome in the movies, and it's becoming more and more accepted in pop culture and society, but we still have a long ways to go because there are still stigmas around it by certain groups of people within, our world, within our country, or not even the country, the whole globe. People are stigmatized all around simply because they're mentally ill. And it's not fair because, we're looked down upon because we have to take medicine all day, or not all day, but every day. And that's not fair because there are people with blood pressure issues and people who are going through other illnesses who have to take medicine every day of their life to live a stable life. I'm not going to say a normal life because I think anybody can live a normal life no matter what your illness is. But living a stable life, that's why I take my medicine, is to be stable and to be able to be on a playing field where I feel like I'm adequate and am able to compete with the rest of the people around me.
Well said indeed. Well said indeed. Because hey, the playing field is definitely a lot bigger now and filled with a lot more traps these days. So it's like, yep, gotta do what you can to be able to not only compete but to survive. So my goodness, definitely well said, my friend. Because yeah, man, it's like a lot of it's going on these days. You mentioned imposter syndrome, which is so huge nowadays, especially in the creative field, especially for those who may have social media to market their businesses and their creativity. But it's like, oh god, they got this stuff and bigger followings to me. So, my goodness, that's something you had to deal with yourself too. And how'd you get over it, my man? Or you still trotting along with the trying to avoid the Lego minefield?
Oh yeah. Imposter syndrome has been real for me from the beginning of my writing career to now. I mean, that presents itself a lot from anxiety, self-doubt, PTSD that I suffer from. But despite all that, I have to take my time to remember that I am making a difference in the world. And I think ultimately writing should be about helping people and invoking emotion, whether it is the emotion of happiness or sadness or compassion, whatever it may be, invoking some kind of emotion should be the goal for every writer. And once you sit back and realize that you are making that difference, that you are invoking that emotional response that you're looking for in your writing, you start to say, okay, maybe I'm not too bad at this writing thing, or maybe I'm not too bad at this comedy thing, or whatever it may be that you're facing imposter syndrome from. Once you start to realize what impact you're making on the people around you, that's whenever the imposter syndrome starts to weaken because you really get this strong sense of self-confidence that is almost overwhelming because it's not something you're used to after battling the imposter syndrome for so long. But it's a really good feeling to overcome that. But it comes like waves. There are times where I am smooth sailing, riding the wave, and everything is great, and I'm feeling good, avoiding those Lego mines. And next thing I know, there's a tsunami crashing down on me, drowning me in self doubt, and I'm trying to swim my way back up to the top. But no matter what, I never stop swimming my way back up to the top. And I think that's what people have to remember is just even when that wave crashes down on you, don't stop swimming. Get out of there, get to the surface, take a deep breath, ride the next wave of success.
Woohoo! That's right indeed. That's right indeed. And when you get to shore, walk up to that wonderful random neutral silhouette of imposter syndrome and body slam it to the ground and be like, yeah, that's right. Pound sand, buddy. I'm back.
There
That's
you
right.
go.
Yes, sir, indeed. Yes, sir, indeed. And hey, man, the beautiful thing about it is not only you are making a difference, man, because you started your own publishing company to helping authors to get their stories out there in good old tangible form as well, man. So what led you to do that, my man?
So, whenever I started my journey as a writer, initially I was never going to publish Not Alone. It wasn't until I started showing it to friends and family and they were reading it and they were like, "You've absolutely got to publish this." And uh, I went the self-publishing route. Whenever I started off, I didn't have a Facebook page. Like I had a Facebook, personal Facebook, but didn't have an author page or anything like that. I had a defunct Twitter. I had an Instagram that I hadn't used in 2 years. I handle a lot of social media in my day-to-day job, but just never put a lot of attention into mine because I never had this mindset of wanting to be an influencer or content creator or published author or public figure or anything like that. So I started to have I had to build my whole platform from scratch. And I saw how hard that was to build from literally nobody following you to being able to have people that are following you because they want to hear your story. And I also ran into the point where I was running into financial difficulties trying to get my book published. I didn't realize how expensive it was going to be to pay for editing and cover design cost and formatting. And I tried to do it all myself and at the beginning, and it was hard. Even even for somebody who, is very technical, tech savvy and is good with programs like InDesign and Photoshop, it can still be difficult to design your own stuff and format your own stuff and edit your own stuff. You still have to go out and pay for it. So after I published my third book and had gotten my feet wet a little bit and understood the self-publishing industry and the indie author community a little bit more, I decided, you know what? I want to start a publishing company so that I can help authors who are just starting out or who may not have the funds or may not have the social media following or the marketing know-how to be able to publish their book to get their story told. We focus a lot on underserved communities such as the LGBTQIA plus community, BIPOC community. We are very diverse. And what really brought the journey together was I went to my friend Kelsey. Well, I had talked to my wife Grace at first, and she was all for it. She's my biggest fan. She supports me and is always pushing me to do and be better. And without her, I wouldn't have been able to start on this. But once I had her approval and her backing, I went to my friend Kelsey. And whenever I was talking to Kelsey, she had also been approached by another friend of hers, Caitlin, about starting a publishing company of theirs. So at first, Kelsey was going to publish half of her work through me, half of her work through her other friend. And she brought us into a meeting together and we sat down and we discussed what our ideas were. And at the end of it, we came together and said, you know what? We're going to do this together. We're going to do this as a joint thing. We're going to bring our ideas, our skills, our expertise together. Caitlin didn't want to lead it, so she let me be kind of the forefront of it. But really, without Caitlin, Victoria, and Kelsey, I wouldn't be here. Whenever we had this idea between Caitlin, Kelsey, and myself, we knew of Victoria through a writing project that we were doing called In the Pantheon. It's an online magazine where authors voice a Greek god or goddess from Greek mythology and they put him in the modern world. So I was voicing Apollo and Victoria was voicing Aphrodite. And like I said, without this team behind me or beside me, I would not be able to do this. They want me to be the face and be the front, but this is really a family effort because we're a family. Tea with Coffee Media is a family altogether, from our authors to our designers to our editors to our interns. We are a family. Once you are part of the Tea with Coffee Media family, we don't let you go. We love you forever. Point blank, period.
Sweet. That's what I'm talking about. Congratulations, indeed. That's right, indeed. That's what I'm talking about, indeed. Ryan's like, hey, you gonna publish some books? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Hey, you gonna post the books too? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Hey, why don't we join forces and make the justest friends of this publishing industry? That's right, let's do it. That's right, indeed. And Tyler's Batman, danggummit.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Congratulations, my friend, indeed, man. So, my goodness, so what are you excited about over the next 3 to 6 months, so, man? Now that you got so much progress under your belt and so many wins under your belt, man, I'm pretty sure you got some big things planned.
Yeah, we are submitting a few of our books from Tea with Coffee Media to several awards, including the Independent Book Publisher Association's Benjamin Franklin Award, as well as the New York Big Book Award. So, Madam Eldridge's Wayward Home for Unruly Boys, which just released earlier this month, hit #1 for new releases under teen and young men's issues. And we're going to nominate that one as well as our other newest release, The Shadow of the Scholar. So that's kind of a big thing that we're looking forward to at Tea with Coffee Media. But for me personally, I actually just rebranded. I've got a marketing and communications firm that specialized in online startups and nonprofits, and I've just recently rebranded to specifically tailor to nonprofits. We have brought our prices down to be more accessible and affordable to nonprofits because I've got such a passion for helping. I've served on several nonprofit boards over my 10 years as a marketing and communications professional, including communities and schools, Brunswick Family Assistance, Chamber of Commerce's. I really love helping nonprofits. My grandfather on my dad's side runs a nonprofit called Dare to Care for Children. He raises money for children with life-threatening diseases and helps them get medicine and toys at Christmas and sends them to carnivals and fairs and things like that. And his work has always inspired me. So with the Wittkofsky company, I decided that, I love online startups. I think they're great. I mean, I'm obviously a big online startup person with two companies under my belt and multiple blogs and websites and affiliate marketing programs. But nonprofits are just so special to me because of the impact that they make with little to no money. And if I can be a part of that and help take these nonprofits to the next level without them having to break the bank on marketing and communications and donor engagement, and fund developments and things like that. I'm here to help them. And that's ultimately with everything that I'm doing with Tea with Coffee Media, with my writing, with my blogs, with the Wittkofsky company. I'm just trying to help people. That's my biggest thing, my biggest passion, my biggest motivation in life is to help people succeed because I know what it's like to struggle and I know what it's like to be down and out, and just to have somebody reach their hand out and offer to pick you up when you're down means the world. So if I can be that helping hand or assist somebody in being that helping hand, then I'm doing something important in this world.
Sweet. That's what I'm talking about, indeed. He's doing important work, indeed. You love to hear it and you love to see it, indeed, man. So, my goodness. So, with all these wonderful journeys of life, we all have to take probably been some setbacks along the way. So, has there been a major setback in your life that you consider that became one of your greatest successes?
I think one of my biggest setbacks in life, and I haven't really been very open about this in the past, so this is kind of the first time I'm coming on a podcast and talking about this. But I had a little bit of a problem with alcohol and drugs whenever I was going through college. I struggled with depression and anxiety and bipolar undiagnosed, and I self-medicated with those drugs, and it almost killed me a couple times. I almost not only from suicide attempts but also from unintentional overdoses or ending up in the hospital from doing something stupid while drinking. And I overcame those challenges to become a better person and learn from those experiences. And while yeah, that wasn't me and that's not who I want to be, and I've overcome that and I've changed that person, that's still a part of me, and it's always going to be a part of me, and it made me who I am. It gave me a driving factor to never get to that point again, to fight past that and to fight addiction. And it also gave me the strength to stand up and help people who are fighting addiction. I'm not very open about this particular subject part of my life, but I am with people that are close to me and people that are struggling with addiction, and I try to be there for them. In Not Alone, I wrote about addiction, being addicted to pills and alcohol, and that was kind of a part of the story that made it so real to a lot of people because they know what it's like to struggle with addiction on top of having a mental illness, because people with a mental illness are more likely to suffer from an addictive personality.
Glad you're able to drop that, man. And glad you're still here, man. Because yeah, alcohol with the pills, man. Like, that's always a bad combo. It's always a bad combo. Man, oh man, oh man. Well, my man is still alive and well and kicking, y'all. So there you go. Let there be a testament, y'all. Right, indeed. Don't try to mix them up. They put on the label for a reason. Like, don't drink alcohol with your meds,
Yeah,
y'all. Don't do it.
listen to
Please
those
don't.
labels.
Yeah, exactly. It's like those labels are good labels, y'all. This ain't though to make you feel bad labels. These are the tried and true labels on the product here.
Yeah, yeah. Like the label on Tide Pods that says "Do not eat these."
And didn't Todd get sued because apparently some moron ate them and they had to put that on there?
Yeah, yeah, because the person said it looked like candy, so they wanted to eat it. Which I feel like you should know not to eat dish detergent, but who am I?
Eh, I guess they didn't deter them.
I love it. I love the dad jokes. I'm here for it all night long.
Yeah, I blame Andy Moore for that one too. He's like, "Oh, it tastes look like candy." He's like, "Oh yeah, Andy Moore, missing it like candy. Let me take a bite. It's so sweet. Oh no, it's not." Went from Andy Moore to Willa Ford. My man was bad on that one. Oh well, but it doesn't matter. So my goodness, since you've been on quite a few interviews, promote the good work that you're doing. Is there a question that you wish folks would ask you more often when you're on the guest side of the microphone?
Oh, that's a good one. I guess my favorite question that I get asked is always, what's your best advice for new writers? Because, my biggest thing is helping other people, and especially whenever it comes to the indie writing community, I love being asked questions that are about helping people.
Sweet. So what's the advice for the new writers, my man?
All right. Well, let me share a little secret with you. Every writer, even the big shots, started right at the beginning. It's like setting off on an adventure where the destination is just as thrilling as the journey. Don't get caught up in comparing your words to anyone else. Your voice is unique, just like your fingerprint, so you need to embrace that. Your stories, your ideas, they're unlike anyone else's, and that's your superpower. Oh, rough drafts. They're like a pancake, a bit wonky, but still delicious. Don't shy away from the imperfections of that first pancake. That's where the real magic and the real perfection happens. It's like doodling, but your doodles could end up being the big next Mona Lisa. We talked a little bit about imposter syndrome. There's gonna be moments when self doubt creeps in. Perfectly normal, but Even the best writers have their I'm not worthy days. Stephen King has gone on record saying that he's faced it. Just take a deep breath, have a cup of coffee, and remind yourself why you started this journey. You're not just writing, you're creating, and that's pretty darn amazing. Writing isn't just about words on a paper. Like I said, it's all about connections, the heart to heart stuff. Your story might be the lifeline someone out there needs. Chin up, keep those words flowing. And that blank page, not a challenge, it's an invitation. Fill it with your thoughts, your dreams, your wild ideas. Let it be your playground and your canvas. Let it be your comfort zone.
So I'm talking about indeed. That's right, indeed. One day you'll go from wonky pancake to waffle full of syrup, y'all. That's right, indeed. Metaphorically speaking.
Metaphorically and technically, because I would like a pancake and a waffle filled with syrup and butter.
I knew my man was better and not butter. That's what I'm talking about, indeed. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Everybody to start right at the beginning. All the puns intended, y'all. That's right, indeed. If the curse is blinking at you, or if the page is empty, or filled with only one sentence, it's okay. That's right, indeed. It's just an off day. Drink that good old cup of Joe if you have to. That's right, indeed. Find that inspiration. Find your why. That's right, indeed. And you'll eventually get to that magical finish line because all the writers deal with the same darn thing in a different form or another. And they come out on the other side as a flamingo. Some come out on the other side as an ostrich. And then some go way back and become a dinosaur. You never know. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. So, my goodness, so such your fellow podcast hosts have to ask one of those obligatory podcasting questions. So, my goodness, so what are your top three major lessons learned from starting and running your podcasts, my man?
Let's see. Top three lessons learned. Number one, invest in good equipment because good equipment makes or breaks a podcast. Number two, along those same lines, make sure you have good internet. I've had terrible internet doing podcast as a host and a guest, and it's not good. Makes you look unprofessional to the guest or unprofessional to the host. And number three, have fun. It's all about having fun because a podcast should be about conversation and connections. And that's what I love about this podcast so much, Dom, is you are all about laughs and having a good time and the dad jokes. And that's what it should be about. Podcasts are supposed to be fun, lively, good conversations. Unless you're like one of those murder mystery podcasts, then just ignore everything I'm saying because I have no idea what to tell you to do.
Yeah, I'm sure you can have fun, preparing for it, maybe for the
Yeah,
reading.
yeah,
Yep. Hopefully, none of them get any dreams of reenacting and none of the crap. That's the major thing. It's like, don't have that kind of fun now. Don't have too much fun.
yeah, yeah. That might be a little too much fun there.
Unless you're murdering a stack of waffles like you're the Rock.
Yes. God, that man could put down some waffles.
That's right, indeed. Lay of the smack of down. In this case, the maple down. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But hey, yeah, man, definitely agree with you on that one, man. It's like, hey, have that good equipment indeed and invest in the good old internet, even if you have to get a Wi Fi extender for your home. Certain indeed, do something. Certain indeed, because interviews could suck remotely if you keep getting kicked off the door. I think that's trying to keep you together.
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
Oh, man, oh, man. So, my goodness. So, speaking of fun, a fun question for you. And I guess at the time of this recording, the most recent book under your belt, if I'm not mistaken, is the wonderful book Potent. So, if that book were a food, what would it be and why?
An apple, because one of the running jokes throughout the book is Puck, who is a non-binary Fae character, is always munching on an apple in the most inappropriate times. They like Titania and Oberon will be arguing, and out of nowhere, Puck appears with an apple in fair hand, and Faye just takes a big bite of the apple, and Oberon and Titania both stop and look over, and they're like, "Really, really, Puck?"
Just try to keep that doctor away, man.
That's right. That's right. An apple a day.
It's like, you ain't taking these fairy wings, bucko.
Uh,
That's freaking hilarious. That actually reminds me of I think it was I think it probably was Sonic the Hedgehog in the neck. No, wait, no, Sonic Unleashed. I think that's what it was. And that is a little character called Chip. And he would just have a candy bar and just be eating it at random times. And it'd be like, hey, you want some
yes.
chocolate?
Yes, I remember that. That was great. I always love those little random people who are always just eating a random piece of food at the most inappropriate times.
That's a D, because that's never bothered me. I'm like, oh, that's freaking amazing. It's like, yes, comedic relief. You two finally stopped arguing. Now it's time to get to the plot. It's like, oh shoot, we hit the climax. Hey, it's a random fairy eating an apple. Where the hell did you come from? We did you 3 chapters ago. Why are you here now? That's what I'm talking about, indeed. That's right, indeed. Hashtag all the computers. That's right, indeed. Who knew that the fairies had the Apple and the Macintosh all at once? That's right, indeed. That means there's a fairy in that universe named Steve somewhere.
I'll put it in the next book. Steve.
Uh, uh, that means he has only one job. Maybe two to keep it plural. R.I.P. Oh man. Well, before that wonderful rabbit hole gets any deeper, coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive, and that is, if you'll wake up tomorrow and you were 25 again, but you're still in the current year, what advice would you give to yourself?
Stop giving two shits about the people who don't care about you. Because I spent so much of my younger years going through people pleasing, trying to win all these awards and become locally popular and famous and well known. And at the end of the day, it didn't matter because my brother-in-law passed away shortly after my wedding in 2020. And all these people that I knew and who I thought appreciated me and cared about me and respected me, none of them showed up. None of them sent condolences. I felt so alone. All I had was family that showed up. And then that's when I realized that's all you need. All you need is for family to show up. And I think I would have to tell myself, hey, stop putting so much stock into all these people who really don't care about you and start paying attention to the people who do care about you, like Gracie, Dutch, Belle, your mom, your grandma, your brother, everybody like that. Take care of your family, not these randos who don't care.
Amen to that. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. That's right. Always look out for the folks who care for you and care about you. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Yeah, man. That's right, indeed. Turmoil. Turmoil and strife. That's right, indeed. You get to find out who your true friends are, and heck, even true family members are too. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Because the good news about tough times is that not only that they don't last, but they also bring good people together.
Yes, very true.
That's right, indeed. Without tough times, we never get peanut butter and jelly.
Gotta love a good peanut butter and jelly.
That's right, indeed. Good old PB&J together once again. Good cop, bad cop. Taking over the giant world of loaves of bread. They're trying to spread all over them.
With their K9 waffle.
Yeah, that's right, indeed. That waffle will snip out all the loaves. Oh man, I must be on one today. So my goodness, so before the pancake joins the party with a cowboy hat with a Barbie doll, folks need to keep up with you and your journey, man. So for those of you to do just that and cop some copies of all your books, what's the best way for folks to do so?
Best way is to go to my link tree. Huge shout out to Linktree if you're an author, a creative, or anybody who has like multiple websites, social media. Get yourself a link tree. My link tree is linktr.ee/Tyler Wittkofsky, Wittkofsky. On my link tree, you will find all of my social media, links to all of my books, different ways you can support me, all of my businesses, Calendly links to be able to book a marketing consultation with me, book a time to interview on my website, or guest blog on my website. So tons of things for you to do on my link tree, and it's got a really cool video with a sunset in the background, so it's beautiful, if I may say so myself.
Woohoo! That's right. Wouldn't sing a master at work right there, y'all. That's right, indeed. Sunset vibes all day. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Romance, novel, scenery, ahoy. That's right, indeed. Heck, even just random good living, ahoy. That's right, indeed. I don't know anyone that doesn't appreciate a good sunset.
That's right.
If they don't, something may be totally wrong with them.
They may be a serial killer.
That's right, indeed. That's right, folks. If they're a serial killer, they might have to get toasted, cinnamon toast style.
French toast style.
There you go. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. I want to watch out, especially if he posts his stupidity on the Golden Gram. I mean, Instagram.
You gotta love a good Golden Gram. Golden Gram, Jimmy Graham, Instagram, it's all the same thing.
That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Who knew that the DM would just be a Fruit Loop? Oh man. Well, I guess my loopiness is definitely on fleek on extra today. So my so before the rabbit hole, should I say another loophole opens? Any parting words before we close up shop, my man?
Yeah, Dom, just thank you for having me. To your listeners, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate y'all listening into this episode, and listening to me ramble and Dom tell bad dad jokes that I love to hear. So I appreciate all of your listeners. I appreciate you, Dom. So thanks for having me.
If you're hearing this part of the episode, that means you're one cool individual. Thanks a bunch for tuning in, and if you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to share it with at least one other person in your network. Bonus points for 3. And be sure to check out the backlog too while you're at it, because there are hundreds of wonderful episodes to choose from as well.